Hola amigos, ¿cómo están? Welcome back to another episode where we talk about Chivas, and obviously we're going to be reviewing the season, reviewing the Liga, what went wrong, what went right, the ups and downs. Season was a long season. This Clausura, not quite sure why. I think it's because of Leandro and the tough run of form we had under him. But I've talked a lot about Leandro. I don't really want to talk about him much, or his tenure. We'll talk about the new guy, McCarty, I can't remember his name is, um, and the instant impact he had. Um, I mean, 5 games after the season, he comes in and we win 5 games in a row. Um, like, let me see. So we lost against Monterrey. Then we sacked Leandro after Monterrey. Then we beat Cruz Azul. We beat Tijuana. We beat Pumas. We beat Necaxa. We beat Pumas again in the repechaje. Still don't think I'm pronouncing that right, but it is what it is. And then we hit uh, Atlas in the quarterfinals of the Liga, and it was also going to be tough because obviously it's a main rival. Um, we drew against them back in March. Both got a red card in that game as well, apparently. I can't remember that game. I can't remember, to be honest with you. It's been such a long season, I can't remember March games. But yeah, obviously they were reigning champions as well. And it was a tough ask. We unfortunately lost Atlas. Um, 2-1. What can I say? I mean, what was it? One, two, three, four, right. 5 games and then six we lose. Um, what can I say? I mean, trying to stop myself from sneezing because I always want to sneeze in the video apparently. But yeah, no, I mean, it was a tough game. It was at home though. We have a good run of form at home. Um, I mean, I watched that game and and then I watched the highlights as well, and it was just bad. It was just probably the worst. It was definitely the worst game since Leandro. Um, for me, the whole run of form going into this game spoke volumes about Leandro, to be honest with you. It spoke volumes, like proof beyond doubt that he just wasn't up to the task. He's probably going to be a decent coach, in another 10, 15 years. I mean, this guy's 35. He's like, I'm 35. It's just like too young to be taking over arguably the toughest job in Mexico. Um, no matter how bad Chivas are, no matter how much hate we get, no matter how much banter we get, it's still a team that the media gluttons itself over. It can't get enough of Chivas, and you're going to be under the spotlight. You're going to be under the microscope. You got to watch what you say, watch what you do at all times. Otherwise, it's going to be splashed all over the papers. Same for all teams, but it seems to be a much more um, hysteria around Chivas in the media. So it was a tough job, and he just wasn't up for it. So credit to the new guy that came in. I don't think he's going to stay, and I don't think he should, to be honest with you. I think if he had done well in the Liga, I think if he'd gotten us to the final Liga, I think maybe then it's a case of he deserves it, but I don't think. I think he did well, um, but he must have been told, look, bro, you're going to be judged on Liga and how far you get into it. So I don't think he's going to stay. He might do. I don't know. Not as yet, anyway. Atlas have just annihilated Tigres, I think 3-0. So in the semis, so Atlas are no joke. Um, More than likely, it's going to be maybe America they face in the final. But I'm not following it too much to be honest. As soon as Chivas gets knocked out of the gear, I kind of just stop interested in it. Obviously follow the results because it's all over my Twitter feed, but I'm not going to stay up and watch games when Chivas are not playing. There's no point, in my opinion. People might disagree. Um, and then we go and draw 1-1 in the away leg, which unfortunately the away goals wouldn't have applied either. So it would have been, if we'd won that game 1-0, it would have been 2-2, and then I think it would have been on extra time and then penalties. So Yeah, it's just unfortunate. Lose it by 3-2 aggregate. It's a bit of a pain. It's the main rivals. I mean, America could be our main rivals, but our main local rivals. Um, it's not good. It's not good at all. And I think that alone should get this guy sacked. We need someone in that's gonna revamp this team. I mean, the team itself hasn't been done too badly, but there are players now that need to be moved on. Arguably, Briseño needs to go. I think Molina, I think his time at Chivas is done. I think he's out injured at the moment, but I think his time at Chivas is done. Mir as well could be gone. We need a. Our defense is so old, so old. We need new defenders, new centre backs in particular. And I hope we get them, but you never know how much money Chivas has now. Um, I think the front line is alright. Obviously, Vega's just signed a new deal, so he's going to be staying arguably until January. Um, Alvarado's they just bought him. He's still, I would say, still bedding into the team. He's not going to go anywhere, but he should improve now. Um, having had the Clausura to play. Um, Macias, I think, should be our starting striker from now on. I don't really want to see Zaldivar starting. I think the Cisneros we have now, I think needs to be moved on. I think we need to get the Cisneros that we shipped off to Atlanta. I think we need to get him back. Um, Gael Sandoval, he's obviously he did really well in the Wellington Phoenix. Um, got into the playoffs, but I think they got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. Really good achievement for Phoenix. Anytime Phoenix gets into the playoffs, that's a good um, season for them. You get a particularly good season. I think he got like 5 goals and like 3 assists or something. Um, really good for his debut season. Anyway, in a brand new country. I would imagine while learning English at the same time. um, so he's still on loan. His loans are coming up now. So big question mark about what he's going to be doing. Whether he's going to come back to Chivas. I wouldn't mind him if he's. I'd like to see him stay in Australia, to be honest, because selfishly, I never got to see him play Perth because COVID and restrictions. Perth's only recently, WA's only recently opened their borders, so he and his team weren't allowed to come into the state. Our Perth Glory had to go over east. So I never got to see him play live, unfortunately. So from a selfish point of view, I'd love to see him stay in Australia and hopefully for one more season, hopefully I get to see him play live. Um, but if he does leave, I wouldn't be mad at all if he came back to Chivas and was in the first team and was actually given time in the first team. I think he's earned it. Um, he may want to stay in Australia. He may want to leave Australia but go somewhere else, maybe the MLS or somewhere else. I don't know. Don't know what he wants to do, but I'm sure we'll find out. Either he will announce something, or Chivas will announce something, or Phoenix will announce something. No one's announced anything yet, so I think I would assume that negotiations and talks are still ongoing. I have no idea what's going on in the background, to be honest with you. But like I said, I would love to him to stay. But if he does move, I'd like to see him go to Chivas and actually get a run in the team. I think it'd be very, very interesting to see him play with, likes of Vega and Alvarado and maybe even Mercius as well. But we'll have to wait and see. Um, so yeah, I mean we've got some decent midfielders. Beltran, Bouquet's doing really well. Beltran's doing really well as well. He should be higher rated in FIFA, by the way. I think he's only 70 rated. That's criminal. He should be 75 in my opinion. 74 at least. But FIFA's FIFA, isn't it? So I think attacking wise we're alright. Um, we need to start Macias now. Get rid of a couple of strikers. Maybe bring in a striker from the youth team, or buy a striker in to compete with Macias. But apart from that, I think the second was right. I think Angulo's good. I think once he's back from his injury, obviously. Chicote as well. Sometimes playing on the wing, but I think wing left back. I think we're fine. Chicote is definitely all right. Right back. I don't really want to see Brizuela playing right back. Maybe I think we need a new right back. Godino, I mean, I haven't even talked about Godino. Obviously, he played the game against Atlas, was crying because very clearly he's leaving Chivas, which sucks. I mean, I think he should be our starting goalkeeper. I pray that he's going to Europe, but the rumours are that he's actually going to another Liga Max club this season. So yeah, I don't know where he's going to go yet. I think Necaxa has been rumoured. Um, but I mean, I'm gutted to be honest with you. I think he should be. He should have been played more. Um, I don't know whether he was asking for more money. I don't know quite why the contract situation, because they renewed with Vega. They sorted it with Vega. Maybe they went all in with him and decided, you know what, we can't do both. We'd rather keep Vega because he gets us goals. Um, and Jimenez, to be fair, Jimenez has done quite well, better than I thought he would. To be honest with you, I still don't think he's the caliber to take us to La Liga and to the title. Um, but he's done well. I have to give him credit. He's done quite well, especially under the new guy. He wasn't doing too well against under Leandro, but again, the whole team wasn't. Um, so yeah, lots of players that need to get shipped out. That's the main thing. Getting rid of a load of players. Hopefully that gives us a bit of money so that we can then buy. For me, I think we need at least two centre backs. Get rid of Pesena, get rid of Mia. I think they're both just too old now. Brilliant players for the team historically, but I think the time to change. Two new decent centre backs. Sabor-Veda doesn't seem to be in the running anymore. Sucks. I actually always rated him, but obviously you got a lot of hate from a lot of Chivas fans. Huerta, maybe it's time for him to leave. He did really well at Mazatlan. Maybe he goes back there and does quite well for himself. Maybe he goes to Australia. That'd be sweet. It seems to be an Australia thing. It seems to be starting to be an avenue for these Mexican players to get some game times, because any of these Chivas players can walk into any A League team, in my opinion, that I've mentioned. Um, yeah, so new centre backs, new right back. I think we need. Um, Maybe a backup goalkeeper, maybe a new starting goalkeeper, and have Jimenez as a backup to him again. But midfield wise, I think we're okay. I wouldn't mind a new midfielder coming in. There's rumours of Romo coming in. There's some kind of deal with Godinho. I wouldn't mind that. Romo's really fallen off the last 6 months or so, yearish. Um, but I still think he could do a job for us in Chivas. I think he's a step up on most. I think Beltran's the only midfielder that we have that is better than Momo. Um, but for me, it's the defence right now. Our whole back line needs revamping and rejuvenating. Um, and the sooner we get that done, the better, in my opinion. But we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, as and when transfers happen, I'll make videos and let you guys know what's going on. Let you know what these videos are basically. I mean, most of the time, you guys know what I'm talking about in these videos. It's not like I'm telling you and you're finding out for the first time. These is just my reactions to it, my thoughts. You can agree with it, you can disagree with it. It's awesome. We can have a talk in the comments, politely. If you're gonna give me a stick, I can block you. But um, like that's never really happened. It happened once. A USA fan had a go at me in the comments once, but you know, it is what it is. That's the rivalry for you. But yeah, most of the time you guys are awesome. So yeah, keep the comments coming. If you haven't subscribed already, that'd be sweet. Let me know in the comments who you think should leave, who you think we should buy. Is there players that I haven't mentioned that you think that have done really well or done really badly? Um, where do you think Godino's gonna go as well? Yeah, so we'll have a big conversation in the comments. I always love talking to you guys. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, obviously, we need to rebuild, and there's always a question mark now whether Chivas are capable of rebuilding, if we're capable of paying money for these players. But like I said, if we can sell the players that we need to sell correctly, get as much money as we can from them, there's no reason why we can't get two, maybe three players this summer. Because we need him basically. And coaching wise, who knows what's going to happen with that? I can see them keeping the new guy on. for another season, another Apertura maybe. Um, I don't know, does he deserve it because he won 5 games in a row? Or does he not deserve it because he lost against Atlas in the quarterfinals? Like, I can see arguments for both. Maybe anybody could have stepped in into this team and done a better job than Leandro. Maybe overhyping this one guy that did what pretty much any other guy would have done. Maybe Leandro was doing such a bad job that anybody would have got these results. Um, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We'll talk about it in the comments, and we'll talk about it as and when things happen. So overall, I think it's a decent season. I think after that 3-1 loss in April against Monterrey, I don't think any of us really thought that Leandro was gonna get us into the Liga. And for me, like Liga is the absolute minimum for Chivas. They need to be in Liga year in, year out, all the time. It's an absolute travesty whenever Chivas are not in the gear. So the fact that we managed to turn it around, we got 5 wins in the bounce, and then dragged ourselves into the gear was good, and we did really well in the Rapachacha against Pumas. That Pumas game was iconic. The Beltran goal on his birthday, Vega's goal. I've got all them goals on the shorts as well. Obviously, Angulo got a goal in that as well. He got injured. I think he got injured in the first round against Atlas. I think it's summed up. Well, he might have got injured in the Pumas game. I can't remember, to be honest with you. But all 3 goals were awesome. But Beltran's goal, I mean, really good on his birthday. It was great. It was a fantastic goal as well. It was very Arsenal-esque, very Wenger-esque, very um, pass, and just unlocking the hand. Vega's backheel flick. I mean, it was absolutely perfect. That game was absolutely amazing. That was one of the most feel good games of Chivas football that I've seen in a long, long time. That was such an amazing watch. To watch it live on my phone, obviously, and then seeing the celebrations and everyone online was so happy. It was great, and then we get Atlas, and it's like, oh no, Atlas are doing really well at the moment. They're a tough team to beat, and excuse me, and we just wasn't really up to the task. But that Pumas game for me is going to live quite a while in my memory. That was, yeah, definitely the best moment of the season. Um, Absolutely amazing. Yeah, that game was just awesome. The 4-1 victory. Yeah, anyway, guys, let me know in the comments anything that you want to talk about. And yeah, I think the next time we talk, I mean, they do have a couple of games against LA Galaxy in August, I think. So I might do a review of them, depending on what happens in them, and who plays, etc. But apart from that, it will just be transfer news because that's a good couple of months away. So yeah, take it easy, guys. Enjoy the off season. And yeah, have fun, and we'll see you guys for the next season. Adios.